Hello, everyone. Okay. Remember, subscribe, like, share, email me, talk to pfc@yahoo.com. It's in the about. I got a few things I want to go over real quick. So, the Drive reported that South Korea successfully launched a ballistic missile from one of their submarines. And a lot of people think, well, what's the big deal with that? Well, the thing is it was an underwater launch. There's only a select few nations that have these capabilities. So we obviously helped them with this. But to me, that's not the topic at hand. I mean, yes, that's huge that they could do such a thing, but what kind of response is North Korea going to have to this? Because you could bet they're going to respond in some way. They're going to say that this breaks some rules, treaties, puts them, has an advantage over North Korea, whatever. So there will be some type of response. Also, Zero Hedge had a report, and I talked about this a while back, about all the container ships off the West Coast that have been sitting there for a long time and are still sitting there, and on average they say it's going to take like a week to a week and a half to unload each ship. This is when there were 44 ships, so every day there's 5 or 6 ships piling up. You're looking at over a year. I did a video on that a while back. Now they're reporting that it's getting even worse. More and more ports are getting backed up, and their excuses is the shortage of workers. But I don't buy that. I mean, I think it's intentional. I don't buy it. This is to help create food shortage, supply shortages across the board, not just food, everything. All your commodities, all your hygiene stuff, your household needs, all the way from everything, from ketchup to car parts. I mean, come through our ports on a daily basis from all around the world. A bulk comes from China, yes, but from all around the world. And I believe they're doing this intentionally. But this report says now that we will start to feel the effects of this and last quarter, so November, December, January into 2022. So they're planning on keeping this going, obviously. So you all need to pay attention and make sure that you buy extra supplies of everything that you can afford to buy, even if it's just one extra thing here or there, and put it back, because within the next 90 days to 6 months, there's like, I talked about the truckers shortage or trucker strike here a while back. Well, I seen a video over the weekend that over 10,000 trucks did go on strike in Australia, and then they had video. It was either 3 or 4 days into this strike. These stores had, nothing. Nothing. The shelves were literally completely empty. Food, as I said, hygiene stuff, like everything, every store, the grocery stores, the hardware stores, the dollar stores, everything. And I mean empty, like totally empty. So people need to realize the power. We hold the power, all of us. It's little channels like mine, yours, people or whatever. As long as we hold together, we will always hold the power. When it comes right down to it, we will hold the power. They can try to push and pull and tug and enforce all they want to, but the bottom line is we ultimately hold the power. And when we decide, if we ever do, stand up, they're going to realize that again. I think they've totally forgotten that. The vast majority of them have. Okay, another thing. It affects all of us, but there's been a lot happening around me. I'm in the Midwest here, Northwest Indiana. The refugees have been brought into Camp Atterbury here in Indiana. Over 5,000 of them. 2,000 just left a base in Wisconsin, which is about 3 or 4 hours north of me, Fort McCoy. And now on September 2nd, at Fort Grayling in Michigan, UN peacekeepers and Chinese diplomats met. What in the world they meeting in the United States for? In Michigan for? Well, if y'all know the governor up there, that Gretchen, she's as deep state as it gets. So, again, who knows what that was all about? Haven't been able to find out too much, but there was just a little short report that they met up there. It was a peacekeeping mission, UN peacekeepers, China, I don't know. Just something to think about. And then also, India Today put out this report, which other people have talked about it, but the Taliban now is forming a government, a legitimate government, supposedly, okay? That in itself is a joke. The fact that any country on earth would even acknowledge that, in my book, puts them right in the same category as the Taliban. Plain and simple. Including our own. Because if you'll acknowledge them as a legitimate government, you're acknowledging terrorism as a legitimate government, as a legitimate society, way of life, however you want to word it. Anyhow, they've sent out a request, and I don't know who the sixth one is, but what it is they're having a government forming ceremony, you know, like an acknowledgement, a get together, let's have a little party, and blah, blah, blah. And they invited, let's see, Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, and Qatar. And I don't know who the sixth one was. If you guys know, put it in a comment. But, to this, they've been invited. Now, whether they all will come, I don't know. We know China will. They're already backing them 100%. We know Iran will. Turkey already said they will. It's just sickening to me. Because here's the thing, you guys. Here's something a lot of people don't realize. The Taliban, we formed the Taliban. We built it. This is not the first time that we've given them billions of dollars worth of weapons and money and everything else. Guess what? When Russia invaded Afghanistan in the 1980s, guess who created the Taliban? Guess who backed the Taliban? Supplied them with weapons, medical supplies, money, intelligence, the whole 9 yards? Yep, the good old USA. And some of these guys that fought in the 80s, were involved in the Taliban in the 80s, are still there today. They're ones that are head of the government, this so-called government. 5 of these guys are on the United States FBI's most wanted terrorist list. One dude has over $5 million bounty on his head. And he's right there in Kabul, or however you say it, Afghanistan. This is lunacy, man. This is, you know what the Bible tells us? In the last days, people will confuse right from wrong, wrong from right. They'll have a delusion, a spirit of delusion. They'll be blinded. And it's exactly what it is. Word for word. Because that's exactly what this is. If you don't want to look at nothing else, this jab, anything else, look at this situation. This in itself alone, in my opinion, fulfills the Bible's statements. These people are crazy, man. Anyhow, just want to tell you guys that, you know, I don't know what's going to come of it, other than this is a new axis of evil. This is Germany, Italy, Japan, all them coming together in World War II. That's what this Taliban, Russia, China, Iran, all this equals to. So, only God knows. We'll see what the future holds. All right, guys, stay safe. God bless. See you tomorrow.